Welcome to the Food Truck Business Plan. As you open the document, the first thing you will see is the cover page of the business plan. On the cover page, you will need to insert the name of your company in the yellow highlighted space. Also on the cover page are some blue highlighted spaces where you will want to enter your contact information. The template has spaces for name, email, and phone. You are welcome to add address if you would like. You may also want to paste in your logo to this page if you have one yet. There is a placeholder design here which you can keep, or you can click it on and delete and/or replace. You can add several different cover page designs by clicking on the Insert tab on the top of the Microsoft Word menu. Once you are there, to the far left will be cover page options. Next is the table of contents. The table of contents can be updated to reflect any changes you may have made to the document. Once you have completed customizing the whole business plan, come back here and click on the table. A tab will open above the contents. Under this tab, which says Update Table, click the Update Table wording on the tab, and a pop-up that says Update Table of Contents will appear. The options, when you click that, will be updated. You have the option to update pages only or the entire table. You will typically want to check Update Entire Table, then click OK. The table of contents will then automatically update. The executive summary is covered next. On this page of the business plan template, you are supplied with a page of written sample content you can use for your company. There is a yellow highlighted space on the page where you need to enter your company name. Read through this page and make sure everything discussed makes sense and will work for your specific business. If you would like to change anything or modify anything on this page, just enter the area where you want to make changes and type in specific details for your company. You are welcome to stay with the written content the template supplies if suitable for your company. On the next page of the business plan template is a chart which provides a financial summary of the company's next 3 years of operations. This chart highlights total income and net income. After you have customized the financial statements for your specific company, you want to return to this chart and make changes so that they match your new financial statements. By right-clicking this chart, a pop-out will appear. The pop-out will give you several options. You want to scroll down to Edit Data or Edit Data in Excel, and the data table will appear. Once you are in the table, type in and make the necessary changes to the figures. The business plan template provides a mission statement. You are welcome to use the statement as is if it will work for your specific company, or change it if needed to match your exact operation. Moving along, we come to Keys to Success. This section of the business plan template has a sample Keys to Success that you can use for your company. They are in a smart art graphic. This graphic and its contents can be changed and customized by clicking it and entering each bullet point. If you need to add a point or just click the graphic, go ahead, do that to see how it works. When you click the graphic and go to the Design tab that is on the top of the Word menu, you will see on the far left side you have an option to add shape. Click that and you will now have a new area to enter another key to success if you need. If you need to delete a key to success, click the point, then right-click and hit Cut on the pop-up menu. Company description is next. You are provided with some sample objectives. You can use what is supplied with the template or change and customize objectives for your specific business operation. Company description is next. Here in the business plan template, the different elements of the business are discussed. On the first line, there is a yellow highlighted area where you will need to type in the name of your company. On the last line of the first paragraph, there is a blue highlighted area where you will type in the location of where you will be headquartered. If you will be a small business operating virtually or out of a home office, you can add the country, city, state, neighborhood, etc. of where you will be. If you will have an actual office space or be a brick and mortar business with a storefront, then put those details here when you have them. Type in here what will best suit your specific situation. There is written content for a business operating in the industry you will be in. Read through the narrative and change anything you may need in order to match up exactly to your proposed company. You are welcome to keep the sample narrative supplied by the template. Now, in the business plan template, we come to the market analysis section. Here is the business plan template industry and market analysis illustrated. You are supplied with a solid analysis that you can use. Research references are sourced in the back of the plan. In this section, the target market is also discussed for the business. The template provides a high-level target market analysis that you can use as is, or you can add to this area of the business plan by searching for some specific data about the target market you will be operating in. If you wish to dig deeper into your target market and add additional information into the plan, you will be looking for data such as demographics of the customers you will be targeting. The results of an internet search for this information can then be pasted into the blue highlighted area of the business plan here in this section. If you are going to stay with the sample target market content, just delete the blue highlighted area and move on to the next section of the plan. The competitive analysis is next. Here, the business plan template provides a sample competitive analysis that you can use. It is a high-level analysis and is fine to use as is, or if you wish, you can expand on it by adding some information for your specific business. A SWOT analysis is included as well, which covers the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for the business. This SWOT analysis is in the form of a smart art graphic. By clicking it and entering each area of the graphic, you can customize the points if needed to suit your specific company. Continuing in the business plan template, we come to the Organization and Management section. Here, under Management, you will want to add the bios or profiles for the key team members of your company. A blue highlighted area is pasted as a place mark for you here. There is an organizational chart, which is in the form of a smart art graphic. Click the graphic to enter the different areas of the organizational chart. You can fill in and edit your team members and their positions in the graphic. Products and services are covered in the next section. A description of the product and service in this area of the business plan are shown. Under the product and service section, you will want to type in the specific products and/or services your company will be offering. There is a blue highlighted area where you can add details for your company. Now we come to the marketing and sales section of the business plan template. A market penetration strategy is shown. This area of the business plan is where the promotional methods and communication strategy for the business are discussed. The business plan template provides a full marketing strategy that can be implemented. If you have some specific marketing methods that are not mentioned, feel free to add them here. Next, we have the projected financial statements. Income statements, cash flow statements, and balance sheets are included for the company. A detailed startup and funding is covered as well. All statements are complete with sample figures. The Excel workbook contains all the worksheets to customize the financial statements for your exact venture. Lastly, there is an appendix which includes assumptions and references. The assumptions are from the Excel worksheets, and you can paste in your own specific assumptions based on your exact venture after you complete the Excel workbook, or you're welcome to stay with what the template provides. This lecture will take you through customizing the food truck Excel financial worksheets. We will go tab by tab. The first tab is the introduction and provides some instruction and information about how the workbook is used. Instructions here are for the overall general use of the workbook and include how to make the worksheets larger or smaller by clicking the plus or minus sign on the bottom right, and how to expand or contract line items by hitting the plus or minus sign on the left of the worksheets. The next tab is the required startup funds. Here is where you will detail the costs for purchasing a food truck, any equipment you will need, and more. You will want to enter the specific numbers for your own food truck venture in the yellow cells. Fixed assets are covered, and then operating capital. There are yellow highlights in K29 and K28, where you will enter the amount that will be invested in the company. If you will be getting a loan, enter that into the yellow cells G34 and G35. Make sure to fill in all your assumptions for interest rates and depreciation in the corresponding yellow cells. Make sure the amount of investment and loan, if any, equal the required funds. So cell G26 should equal G36. You're welcome to use the sample figures given if they will work for you. Next is the Excel Workbook tab for salaries and wages. Here is where you will enter the salaries to be paid and the withholding for wage taxes. In our sample here, we are assuming that the owner is also operating the food truck and as such is drawing a small salary and has profits that can also be taken. The sample here includes tax withholding rates that are common in the US. If you will be in a different country, you will want to type in your rates and assumptions in the yellow cells in columns F and G. There are also green and orange cells on this sheet. This worksheet gives you the option to take a shortcut and just enter a percentage increase in salaries for years 2 and 3. If you want to do this, enter your percentage increase in the orange cells. If you would rather enter the yearly salaries for years 2 and 3 manually, as a figure, type in your estimates in the green cells. If you want to break the salaries down monthly and not have them remain steady over the year for years 2 and 3, then go to the year 2 and year 3 statements, which are tab 12 and 15. There you can enter salaries for each month under the salaries and wages line. Next are the fixed operating expenses. On this tab, there are yellow cells at the far left that list the line item expenses. The sample here addresses common food truck expenses. You can change any of the items and names if you need to better suit your specific operation. Moving to the right of the worksheet, there is a column of yellow cells. Column G, where you will enter the monthly expense estimate for each line item for the first year of projections. 2 green cells are on the worksheet, which allow you to make a quick calculation of fixed expenses for the second and third year of projections. You can use these green cells to make percentage increases, and everything will calculate automatically for the second and third year of projections. If you would rather enter an individual yearly figure for year 2 and 3, instead of using the percentage increase, enter those figures in the orange cells. If you want to enter fixed expenses on a monthly basis instead of a yearly basis, go to tab 12 and 15 and enter monthly figures under the expense lines. Sales income is next. On this worksheet, you are required to enter your monthly income estimates for the first year of your projection in the yellow cells. There are green cells on the sheet that list common line item names for income sources for a food truck. You can leave these as is or change if necessary to match your business. Also on this sheet are two green cells, I-12 and L-12. You can enter a percentage figure in those cells. If you would like to take a shortcut in projecting your income for the second and third year, go ahead and enter there. If you would rather manually enter individual numbers monthly for the second and third year, then go to tabs 12 and 15 and enter figures on the income lines. The orange cells are for the months of the first year projection. The months can be changed to match the month and year you wish to have the projection start. Cost of sales is on the next tab. Here, there are yellow cells where you can enter the percentage cost of sales. Enter here will transfer to the first, second, and third year financial projections. If you wish to enter exact figures instead of percentages, go to tabs 8, 12, and 15 and enter numbers individually on the cost of sales lines. There are sample percentage figures here that you can use as guidance for your operation. They are typical of a food truck business. Moving to the next tab, we come to Cash, Receipts, Disbursements. Here you will enter any credit terms and estimates that you will be giving to customers or getting from suppliers. In the sample, 0 credit terms are assumed. This may be typical for a food truck operation. If you expect terms by suppliers you buy ingredients from, enter that here. Also on this sheet is a line of credit assumptions. This will be automatically calculated for you when you enter the minimum amount of cash you want to always have in the bank. The worksheet will determine whether you need a loan to maintain that minimum based on all the other financial information in the workbook. If it is determined you will need a loan to stay at the minimum cash balance, what you would expect the rate to be goes in the yellow cell, as noted. You can always adjust the minimum cash balance number if need be. Moving down on this sheet, we have the business tax rate. If you expect your business to be taxed, enter the rate you estimate here. If you will have a small operation where the profits flow directly to you and are taxed on a personal level, you can type 0 here. Also on this worksheet, towards the bottom, is the yellow cell for the amortization period of the startup expenses. This worksheet calculates startup expenses by extrapolating them from the required Startup Funds tab. Enter this yellow cell on how long you want to amortize startup expenses. The next worksheet is the existing business balance sheet. If you have already started your business operations and have a current balance sheet listing the assets and liabilities of your business, you will want to enter that information here. In our sample here, we are assuming a startup, so this sheet has zeros and is blank. The next tab has the first year income projection. There are no required yellow cells. There are optional orange cells where data can be entered. If you used the shortcut method in the previous tabs, this worksheet should be all filled out. You can manually enter numbers here to override the shortcuts. Just remember that if you manually enter numbers into this sheet, you will erase the cell formulas, and the shortcuts used in the earlier tabs will not work anymore. If you want to vary costs of sales and expenses monthly, then here is where you can enter everything on a month-by-month basis. On the next tab is the cash flow statement for the first year. There are 4 lines with colored cells. They are 17, 18, 27, and 28. On line 17 in the colored cells, you will enter any new fixed asset purchases you project to do in the first year and what month they will happen in. This is fixed assets purchased beyond what you needed to start the business. In the sample, we have none. On line 18 in the colored cells is where you will enter any additional inventory you may purchase in the first year. In this sample, we did not expand to another truck or a very large operation and did not need any additional inventory besides the turnover of the initial in the Startup tab. On line 27, if you had a line of credit in the first year and made any repayments of principal, you will insert those numbers on this line. On line 28, you will type any dividends, profits, distribution you expect to have during the first year. In this sample, we are taking out profits every 6 months. You are welcome to stay with the sample numbers, which should work well for a 1 food truck operation, or insert numbers if needed for your specific business. The next tab is the balance sheet for year 1. Do not change any cells here. Everything is populated with cell formulas and is calculated automatically. The next tab in the workbook is the first year summary charts. There is nothing to do on this sheet. This is automatically calculated. You can view graphically the income and costs for sales for the first year to give you an idea of how the financials are looking so far. Moving on to the next tab is the second year income statement. Similar to the first year monthly statement, there are no yellow cells here, so no required entries. The orange cells are optional, and figures can be entered to override the shortcuts taken in the earlier tabs if necessary. Next tab is the second year cash flow statement monthly. As with the first year cash flow, there are 4 lines with colored cells that can be customized here. The balance sheets for the second year are on the next tab. Do not enter any numbers here. There are no colored cells. Everything on the sheet is automatically calculated. The next tab is the third year income statement monthly. Like the first and second year, there are no yellow cells here, so there is no requirement to enter numbers. If you want to use the numbers that are already here and calculated based on the shortcut tabs in the beginning of the workbook, then just leave the sheet alone. If you would like to manually adjust the numbers, then enter your requirements in the yellow cells. Moving on, the next worksheet is the third year cash flow statement monthly. Here, the colored cells are for lines 17, 18, 27, and 28. As in the previous cash flow statements we did, you can enter numbers in those lines if necessary for your exact business needs. You are welcome to stay with the sample number estimates supplied if they will work for you. The next tab is Balance Sheet Year 3. No colored cells here, so nothing to change. This is automatically calculated. Moving along to the next tab, we have the 3-year income and expense summary. Do not make any changes on this sheet. Everything is automatically calculated. This gives a yearly summary for income and expenses. This is a sheet you will want to paste into the back of your business plan document. After that is the 3-year cash flow summary. Again, here there is nothing to change or enter. Everything is calculated for you with the formulas. You will want to paste this sheet into your business plan document. On to the next tab of the workbook, the 3-year balance sheet. Nothing to change here, everything calculated via formulas. This worksheet will be pasted into the business plan. We now come to the final check and break-even analysis. There is nothing to do or change on this sheet. Everything here is automatically calculated and generated. You can paste the information from this sheet into your business plan if you would like. Lastly is the Amortization tab. This worksheet is automatically calculated and will include a detailed breakdown of any commercial loan you may have entered for the business. This sheet can be helpful if you are seeking debt financing in the form of a loan. This lecture is on the pitch deck for the food truck. This document can be helpful if you want to make a quick but yet still professional presentation of your business. The pitch deck can be fully customized for design. By entering into the Design tab on the top of the menu, you will have several design options. Go ahead and choose which one you would like for your business, or you can stay with the design set up in the template. On the first slide of the pitch deck, you will need to type in the name of your company. There is a yellow highlighted area for it. The second slide discusses what we do. There is sample narrative content on the slide that you can use for your own food truck business or modify if needed to suit your specific operation. The next slide is who we are. The PowerPoint template provides a general overview for a founder that can be used. If you would like to put bios of the founder/founders on this slide, you can go ahead and do that. The next slide has a yellow highlighted area where you will need to enter the specifics for the type of food offerings your food truck will serve. The problem and our solutions slide is next. The slide deck sample provides content here for you to use if it will fit your food truck operation, or to use as a starting point to write your own content here. The next slide of the PowerPoint pitch deck covers our business model. Here, there is sample content that fits into the model of many food trucks. If your specific model will differ, make changes as necessary to this slide. Our marketing strategy is the next slide of the PowerPoint pitch deck. Here we highlight some of the more prominent marketing strategies that we discussed in the business plan. Feel free to add or delete any points for your exact operation. The next slide is our management. Here, there is a large Smart Art graphic where you can enter each area and add pictures and bios and other information on the key members of your management team. Finally, the last slide is where you will enter your contact information.